Christabel stood in that doorway as though time had frozen. Her hand still clutched the edge of the doorframe, her breathing heavy, her eyes locked on the woman she had once trusted with her life, and the son she had carried in her womb. Tears streamed down her face, but they weren't just from pain. They were from betrayal, shock, and something deeper, a sense of helplessness. "How long has this been going on?" she asked slowly, her voice barely above a whisper, shaking like dry leaves in a harmattan wind. Neither Uche nor Malik answered immediately. The silence spoke volumes. "Answer me," Christabel screamed, her voice echoing through the mansion like thunder. Malik rose from the bed, wrapping a robe around himself. His face was calm, far too calm for the storm brewing in the room. "Mum," he said softly, "I love her." "You what?" she choked. "You love her?" He stepped forward, trying to approach her, but Christabel stepped back like she had seen a ghost. "Don't come close to me, Malik. Don't." Uche sat frozen on the bed, her arms folded across her chest, as if she could wrap herself in guilt and disappear. "I didn't plan for this to happen," Uche finally said. "I swear. I didn't raise him for this." "Then what did you raise him for?" Christabel hissed. "To destroy this family?" Tears welled in Uche's eyes. "I tried to push him away. I distanced myself. But Malik was persistent and I fell in love too." The word struck Christabel like a slap. "You're 38 years old. And he's my son." "He's 20, Malik said firmly. "I'm not a boy anymore. I chose this." Christabel turned to him in disbelief. "You chose my best friend? The woman who watched you grow up in diapers? How do you even look at her like that?" "Mom, she's not just my auntie anymore. She's the only person who's ever truly cared for me. I'm your mother." Christabel shot back. "I gave birth to you. I sacrificed for you." "No, Mum," he said, his voice lowering. "You hired someone to love me, and that person was Uche." The words pierced Christabel to her core. Her knees gave out, and she collapsed into a chair by the hallway. Mama and Kechi quietly stepped away, knowing this was a storm she couldn't stand in. "I was busy building a future for this family," Christabel muttered, more to herself than anyone else. "Your father and I worked so hard, and in the process, you forgot how to be parents," Malik interrupted. Christabel's lips quivered. Her eyes filled again, but this time it wasn't just with rage. It was regret. For a few minutes, no one spoke. Finally, she stood up. "You will come home with me now." "No," Malik said. "I'm staying here." She turned to Uche. "Then you'll end this madness. Now." Uche looked up, eyes swollen. I can't." Christabel's heart broke for the second time. "You'll regret this," she said, her voice ice cold. "Both of you." And with that, she stormed out of the house, the echo of her heels trailing behind her like a funeral drumbeat. Back in Ibadan, the atmosphere in the Toby household shifted drastically. Christabel could hardly sleep. Her husband, Toby, noticed the change immediately. "What happened in Lagos?" he asked one night. Christabel hesitated, her fingers gripping the edge of the bed. "It's Uche and Malik." Toby sat up. "What about them? They're together." He frowned. "Together how?" She turned to him, eyes red. "They're lovers, Toby. Our son and my best friend are lovers." Silence. Then Toby laughed, thinking it was a joke. But the look on his wife's face made the laughter die in his throat. "You're serious?" She nodded slowly. He stared into space for a while, stunned. Then he muttered, "This is an abomination." "What do we do now?" Christabel asked. "We have to bring him back. Break them up. This cannot continue." Meanwhile, in Lagos, Uche and Malik lived like they were in a bubble. She cooked for him, cared for him, and he treated her like a queen. But in the silence of night, Uche often sat by the window, staring at the moon with tears in her eyes. She knew the world would never accept them, that society would judge them, that Christabel might never speak to her again. But Malik didn't seem to care. "Let them talk," he'd say, holding her close. "I love you, and that's all that matters." But was it really? 3 weeks later, Toby himself arrived in Lagos. When Uche opened the door and saw him standing there, her heart nearly stopped. "Toby, can I come in?" he asked coldly. She stepped aside, knowing this moment was inevitable. Malik was in the living room. When he saw his father, he stood up immediately. "Dad." "Malik," Toby said sternly. "We need to talk." "Whatever you have to say it here," Malik said. Toby clenched his jaw. "Then I'll say it plain. This relationship ends today. It's a disgrace. To your mother, to me, to this family, and to her reputation." "She's not a disgrace," Malik snapped. "She's the best thing that ever happened to me." Toby turned to Uche. "You raised him. You know this is wrong. Don't let him ruin his life." Uche's hands trembled. Her lips parted to speak, but no words came out. "I'm not ruining anything," Malik said. "I'm building a life with someone I love." Toby walked over to him, eyes burning with anger. "You think this is love? This is delusion. You're blinded by gratitude and obsession. This will destroy you both." Malik held his ground. "Then let it destroy us." Toby stared at him for a long time, then shook his head. "You're no longer my son," he whispered, voice cold as steel. Then he turned to Uche. "And you're dead to us." He walked out, slamming the door behind him. The silence that followed was deafening. Malik sat back down, fists clenched. Uche looked at him, her heart aching. "Maybe he's right," she said. "Maybe this is all wrong." "No," Malik said, gripping her hands. "I won't lose you." But deep down, Uche knew they already had lost something. Christabel, the family, their old life. There was no going back now. That night, Uche sat alone again, staring at the moon. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Christabel. "You have one chance to end this, or I will destroy you." Uche's hands trembled as she read it. Malik walked in and saw the look on her face. "What's wrong?" She handed him the phone. He read the message, then looked up at her. "Do you want to end it?" She said nothing. He stepped closer. "Uche, if you tell me to walk away, I will. But only if you don't love me." Her lips quivered. "I love you," she whispered. "God help me. I do." He held her, and in that moment, they both knew they were in too deep. The days after Christabel's threat were like walking on a tightrope for Uche. Every knock on the door, every ring of her phone made her heart race. Malik, on the other hand, remained calm, almost defiant. But Uche couldn't ignore the fear crawling under her skin. She had faced many things in her life: failed suitors, heartbreak, corporate pressure, but this was different. This wasn't just her career or her name on the line. This was the friendship she had cherished for decades, the trust of a family she had been part of for years, and most painfully, the future of a boy she helped raise. That night, after dinner, Uche sat with Malik in the living room. The TV was on, but neither of them was watching. The tension was too thick. "Malik," she began softly, "maybe we should talk." He turned to her, his eyes softening. "About what?" "About us. About what your mother said." He stiffened slightly, but nodded. "Okay, talk." She looked down, her fingers nervously playing with the hem of her wrapper. "I'm scared. Not of what people will say, but of what this might do to you. Your career, your future, your parents." Malik gently took her hands. Uche, I've thought about all of it, but the truth is, I've never been clearer about anything in my life." She looked into his eyes. He wasn't the boy she used to bathe and sing lullabies to. He was a man now, confident, driven, and completely in love with her. "Let me protect you," he said. "Let me take care of you for once." The words made Uche's heart flutter, but guilt clung to her like sweat. She sighed and leaned into his chest. "Then we have to be very careful." Meanwhile, back in Ibadan, Christabel wasn't resting. She sat across from a family friend, Pastor Alicia, in her sitting room. Toby stood by the window, arms folded. "Pastor, please," Christabel pleaded. "You have to talk to them. This relationship is unnatural, unholy." Pastor Alicia stroked his chin, looking thoughtful. This is indeed a spiritual battle, a manipulation of affection. We need prayers, serious prayers. Toby added, it's like she cast a spell on him. Malik has always been respectful. This isn't him. Pastor Alicia nodded. I suggest we organize a deliverance service. But first, I must meet Malik myself. Christabel's eyes brightened. Yes. Please talk to him. The next weekend, Pastor Alicia and the couple flew to Lagos. They didn't inform Uche or Malik. Instead, they arrived at the mansion early Sunday morning, just as Malik and Uche were finishing breakfast. A loud knock echoed through the compound. Uche peeped through the curtain and froze. It's your parents and a pastor. Malik stood up immediately. Let them in. No, Uche whispered. They didn't come to visit. They came to break us. I'm not hiding, he said firmly and walked to the door. When Malik opened the door, Christabel barged in without a word. Pastor Alicia followed behind, holding a leather-bound Bible. Toby remained outside for a moment before stepping in quietly. Uche stood by the dining table, unsure of what to do or say. We didn't come here to fight, Pastor Alicia said, his voice calm but commanding. We came to help you both. This is not love. This is a spirit of confusion. Malik's jaw tightened. Pastor, I respect you, but I don't need help. I'm fine. You're not fine, Christabel snapped. You're sleeping with the woman who raised you. That's not normal. Uche winced at the words. Malik took her hand, surprising everyone in the room. Pastor Alicia opened his Bible and began reading aloud, praying over them, pacing the living room, casting out spirits, and calling on fire from heaven. Uche stood still, her heart racing, as Malik whispered to her, Don't move. I've got you. But the prayers went on for over an hour. Sweat dripped from the pastor's face. At one point, he commanded Malik to kneel. I won't, Malik said. Christabel burst into tears again. We lost him, she whispered. We lost our only son. Toby finally spoke. Let's go. We've done all we can. Before leaving, Pastor Alicia turned to Uche. You may be beautiful, educated, and successful, but if you truly love this boy, you'll let him go. His words echoed even after the door slammed shut. That night, Uche barely slept. Malik noticed. I can see it's eating you up, he said gently. She nodded. They're right. Maybe this love is a mistake. Malik's heart dropped. Are you breaking up with me? She looked away. I need time. To think. To breathe. 2 weeks passed. Malik stayed away, giving her space, hoping she would come around. But Uche fell into depression. She stopped going to work, barely ate, and cried herself to sleep every night. Then one Friday afternoon, she got a call. It was Christabel. Can we meet? She asked. Just the two of us. Please. Uche hesitated, then agreed. They met at a quiet restaurant on Victoria Island. The atmosphere was tense, but calm. I didn't come to fight, Christabel said. I just wanted to understand. Uche looked down. I never planned for this to happen. I fought it. Christabel nodded slowly. I know. I've been thinking a lot these past days. Silence. Then Christabel whispered, Do you love him? Uche's eyes watered. Yes. More than I should. And he loves you? Uche nodded again. Christabel sipped her drink slowly. Then we have a problem. Uche looked up. My son can't marry his auntie. That's what the world will call you, even if you never shared blood. It's scandalous. I know, Uche whispered. But, Christabel added, if you walk away now, we'll forgive and forget. We'll make it all disappear. Uche stared at her old friend. The offer was tempting, but the price was Malik's heart. I need more time, she said softly. Christabel leaned back. You're already choosing him. I can see it. Then she stood. Whatever happens next, remember, you made your choice. That same weekend, news started spreading. A social media blog posted a blurry photo of Uche and Malik at a beach. The caption read, Popular bank consultant in hot romance with friend's son? The internet exploded. People began digging into Uche's profile. Old pictures of her and Malik resurfaced. Twitter debates erupted. Some accused her of grooming. Others defended them, saying love had no rules. Uche's employer called her in for a meeting. "We're facing public backlash," her boss said. "We might have to put you on leave until this blows over." That night, she sat in her dark living room, hugging a pillow, her phone buzzing nonstop with messages, hate, threats, and even blackmail. Malik showed up around 10 p.m., his eyes filled with rage. "They've destroyed your name," he said, showing her the trending hashtags. Uche didn't respond. He knelt before her. "Let's run away. Leave Lagos. Leave Nigeria, if we must." Uche placed her hand on his face. "We can't run forever. Then let's fight." She looked at him, and finally, something in her eyes sparked. "No more hiding," she whispered.